In 𝐂𝐸𝐴S, it's the orientation course which could greatly help you for the rest of your career in BARC. This board can offer you up to 4 lakhs. Okay, 4 lakhs is the limit, but below that it can offer you if you need some money for your project equipment or any conference travel. So these kind of things, BARC will support you. Okay, it is like 65 questions and 180 minutes, but this fellow is like 100 questions in 120 minutes. How to deal with this? So frankly speaking, the level of complexity in BARC exam is slightly less than the grasping power. Okay, when you get stuck at a particular problem, they'll try to give some hint, and using that hint, are you able to get out of that problem? That's what they'll test. Hello all, welcome onto this channel. So in this particular video, I'm going to show you the complete roadmap of BARC OCES 2025 and also for DGFS schemes. And this video will completely focus right from the point of application to what can be done till the final selection. Okay, and you may feel like, why I'm making this video? Because I myself have cleared the exam some time back. Exam in the sense like the final posting. So this is my offer letter headshot. That's all. Okay, so basically my training was at Nuclear Fuel Complex, NFC Hyderabad. So since I have done and gone through all this procedure, so I think we can make this video to make you understand many points right from the first point of application to the final point of selection. Okay, so before I go for the application procedure or what can be done in during the written test and interviews and all, first I would like to give you some brief about BARC, which generally you can find in its official website as well. So if you see, for engineering graduate students and also for science graduates, this OCES and DGFS schemes are available. So what can be done? Okay, so if you see, we have two schemes, basically OCES, orientation course for engineering and science graduates, and second, you also have the DGFS scheme, which is the Department of Atomic Energy Graduate Fellowship Scheme. So what are these two schemes? Okay, and how they differ, we'll learn through this video. So first thing that you know is OCES, and here if you see, in OCES, it's the orientation course which could greatly help you for the rest of your career in BARC actually. Okay, and normally BARC has 12 autonomous bodies inside it, and your posting will be generally in one of these places actually. Okay, and coming to this OCES, so 1 year financial support will be given to you. And coming to the stipend, many of you may feel like, sir, my necessity is immediate job, but again this BARC consists of 1 year training, so what can be done? Okay, but don't worry, during this 1 year you will be given a stipend of 74,000. it's consolidated per month. Okay, and I'll tell you, this has been recently updated this year. Till last year it was only 55,000, but this year they have added 19 more thousand to it and made it 74,000, which is a very good boon for you. Okay, it's almost equal to the pay scale of level 10 now nowadays in hand. Okay, so 74,000 consolidated per month, and you can see when you're in training for this 1 year, they'll also give you some book allowance of 30,000. Okay, and coming to this OCES course, this OCES depending on your choice of interest. Okay, so let's say if you clear the interview, at the time of interview they'll ask you for preferences. Okay, like the location preference, and if you select the location preference and if your interview marks are as per that location, what they'll do is they'll train you as per the modules that you need when you get posted. Okay, like for example, in my case, when I was at Nuclear Fuel Complex Hyderabad, my training of OCES was designed in such a way that whatever the skills I need in performing the job at NFC, like fuel production, okay, refining, all these things, so that particular courses was taught. Okay, and this OCES is a trimester based course, like you'll have exams once in 3 months, and that's only for the first 1 year. And depending on your performance in the OCES exams, your promotions will be there at the beginning. Means like the pay scale updation, like normally if you see, maximum can be 3 increments and minimum can be 1 increment actually. So depending on your performance, you'll get somewhere in between 1 to 3 increments. Okay, which could increase your basic pay and thereafter by all the allowances. Okay, so this one-time book allowance of 30,000. So clearly you can see in this 1 year training course, BARC is investing so much on you for your training and also this book allowance and all. So there is a bond obviously. Okay, so what does this bond tells you? Firstly, like whatever the money that's spent on you, basically during the training, the course of 74,000 per month stipend and also this 30,000. So total, if you sum up, you have to serve a bond to work with BARC for 3 years. Okay, after the completion of your training. So let's say you joined in, for example, July. Okay, so July 2025, then till July 2026 or May 2026 generally your training happens, and after your training you should serve a bond for 3 years, which is this amount. Okay, and this 9,18,000 is summation of 12 times of 74,000 plus this 30,000. Okay, because every month 74,000 during the training, so 12 into 74 plus this 30,000 will sum up to 9,18,000 actually. Okay, so this is the bond you have to serve, and at any point in between these 3 years after the probation, means after the training, if you wish to resign at any point of in between the 3 years, you have to execute this bond of 9 lakh 18,000 rupees actually. Okay, and now coming to the OCS scheme. So this OCS is very clear. So first 1 year you have the training and then they'll post you. Okay, then coming to DGFS, DAE, Department of Atomic Energy Graduate Fellowship Scheme. So this is an opportunity to do MTech. Okay, and there are institutions like the 7 IITs, top IITs, and of course few other institutions where you can get enrolled for an MTech. Okay, then if you get enrolled for an MTech, then BARC allows you to finish this MTech, and then after you should work for 3 years in BARC. Okay, so what are the benefits that Department of Atomic Energy is going to provide you during that 2 years? Normally this is a 2 years MTech program, because anyway the standard MTech program in the central institutes is 2 years. So in these 2 years, what's going to happen? Definitely 2-year MTech at IITs, generally IIT Madras, Bombay, you have other IITs as well, Kharagpur, Kanpur and all. So depending on the locations where you do, they'll allot the posting. Okay, and during these 2 years, again they pay you a stipend of 74,000. Normally if you go to GATE examination for MTech at any IITs or IISc, you will be given a stipend of 12,400, which is known to you, the standard AICTE scholarship. Okay, but if you go to this BARC to DGFS scheme, you will be given a stipend of 74,000 per month, which is very like almost 6 times more than what you get normally through the GATE examination. Okay, and also along with this stipend, BARC completely pays your tuition fees. Okay, whatever the tuition fee you have, normally let's say for a year it's almost like 25,000, 30,000. Okay, including the hostel and all, it's 70,000, something like that. So BARC takes care of that college fees. So BARC gives you stipend and also it waives off the college fees for you. Okay, and then it also gives you the book allowance to purchase some books. Hostel will be definitely in the same institute again, and it provides you also a one-time allowance of 60,000 per year, which is again a bulk amount. So if you split like 5,000 and add here, it's like 79,000, almost 80,000 per month is what the equivalent amount you would get. Okay, which is like very big. And this money part I'm speaking because many of you may feel that, sir, immediate job is my necessity, I have to support my family and all. Definitely you can do that with this stipend. Okay, and clearly definitely see this, there's a lot of support it's given. So definitely this scheme also demands you 3 years service after your MTech. Okay, so you have done your MTech in 2 years, so then after you should serve BARC for 3 years. Okay, which gives you a total spending on you is this. Okay, 18,36,000. So this is the bond you have to execute if you resign in between the 3 years. Clearly in this case, 1 year excess BARC is spending on you on your knowledge investment. So definitely you should execute that bond if you resign in between 3 years. Okay, also one important point I would like to tell you here in this particular Department of Atomic Energy scheme. So you have something called BRNS. Okay, so this is called Board of Research for Nuclear Sciences. Normally it's a very famous board. So Board of Research for Nuclear Sciences. So what does this board does is actually, if you are doing your MTech in any one of the DGFS institutes, and this according to this scheme, it's a project scheme basically, the BRNS, this board can offer you up to 4 lakhs. Okay, 4 lakhs is the limit, but below that it can offer you if you need some money for your project equipment or any conference travel. So these kind of things BRNS will support you. Okay, so if BRNS has supported something during your MTech period, then if you wish to resign, then definitely that money will also add up here. So that's the total amount of the bond you have to execute for 3 years. Okay, and this year they have come up with a very big updation of 74,000 rupees stipend, which was initially only 55,000 in the last years. Okay, so it's a very good thing as of the situations today. Okay, and once, so these are the 2 schemes basically. So in the first scheme, 1 year training and then posting, and here 2 years MTech at any of the institutes and then posting. Okay, and bond amount varies depending on the investment by the government on you. Then definitely if you go for nature of the work, okay, so okay sir, I have cleared the exam and I have cleared these trainings, then what is the nature of the work? So if you broadly split into the areas, there are 3 areas in which you can get posted. One is Atomic Research Centers, ARCs, okay, depending on the place of posting, and first is ARCs. Of course, these are Atomic Research Centers. You can see, maybe I'll write here, Atomic Research Centers, and majority of the BARC centers are of this type. Okay, so you have this Atomic Research Centers where people do a lot of research, and whatever the knowledge you have learned during your MTech, either using MTech to DGFS or maybe OCS at a given institute, so that will definitely come to a lot of use here. Okay, the second kind of nature of work where you get done is like the nuclear reactors. Okay, so or the fuel production plants where like in my case, I was at nuclear fuel production, okay, NFC Hyderabad. So this, after this ARCs, you also have this power plants, or basically the reactors. Like you have many nuclear reactors, like in Chennai, okay, or in Mumbai, you have the reactors, okay, in fact the oldest nuclear reactor of India. So at all these locations you can get posted, where your job will be mostly like operation based job, okay, and also little in fact majority technical and also slightly operational as well, okay, management kind of job. And then coming to NFC, nuclear fuel complex, where I was posted, where you basically, to run these reactors, you need this fuel, okay, so you produce the fuel actually there, okay. Then now what are the screening channels? Okay, so this is the nature of the work what you do in BARC. If you get selected, then what happens is what I told you. Now how to get selected, that's the question, correct? Because without selection we don't do any of these things. So what are the screening channels? So there are two screening channels for BARC, okay. So first is gate examination. So once you give gate examination, you have to update the score in the BARC portal. We'll see in detail how that can be done. So BARC portal. And the second way is BARC also conducts a separate examination, okay. So the two screening channels that you have is, one is to gate examination, which I think majority of you might have already applied by this time for GATE 2025, and the second screening channel is to the written test actually, okay. So GATE is a very well-known business to all of you. You might have enough experience and enough people might have brainstormed you by now to write to know what is GATE exam and how to write it, how to get all India rank 1, all this, but how to get this written exam. In fact, I have cleared this through the written exam at my time. So I'll give you some brief points about this written exam, what is asked in the written exam, and what is how we can attempt this, okay. So I'll give you some quick insights about this written exam. So the first point, there will be 100 questions in 120 minutes, okay. So 100 questions in 120 minutes, and marking scheme is +3 and -1, okay. This is for correct and this is for incorrect, okay. And these 100 questions are only MCQs, okay. You'll see only multiple choice questions is what you have here. So these 100 questions are only MCQs. So you have 4 options, out of which one is correct, okay. So now you may think that, sir, GATE is like 65 questions and 180 minutes, but this fellow is like 100 questions in 120 minutes. How to deal with this? So frankly speaking, the level of complexity in BARC exam is slightly less than the GATE exam, honestly speaking, okay. But the issue comes here, sometimes to test your aptitude skills or whatever, they'll give some lengthy questions, okay, like question which looks very long and majority of the time gets consumed in reading the question, understanding what's given, all these things, okay. So BARC is not like attempting every ball, okay. So you have to leave some balls and you should decide which balls to leave actually, okay, which questions to leave without attempting, okay. And normally the good range of questions which you can attempt is 70 questions, okay. So if you can attempt 70 questions perfectly, that's it, you will be definitely clearing the written test, okay. So this is how you have. Now what is the syllabus that you have in this cases, okay. So in these cases, if you look at the syllabus, you have maths, means basically technical syllabus, that's all, okay. Technical syllabus, which is like engineering branch specific, and this also includes maths. Obviously maths is not non-technical, maths is a technical subject. So this is the syllabus that you have, okay. So there's no aptitude and no English, no general awareness or nothing like that. So this is purely engineering branch specific syllabus with maths included in it, okay. And this is the marking scheme, and a safe range you can say maybe 70, and we'll give some bilateral tolerance, so plus or minus 5, so -5 plus 5, okay. So that would be a very, very safe range, okay. And the final selection is based only on the interview. There is no written test marks consideration. Once you get shortlisted for the interview, then the final selection is based on the interview, okay. There is no written test marks consideration again. And so this is about the exam. So how to prepare for this exam, that's the question. You know that the syllabus is this, and this is the safe range of operation. So firstly, if you solve GATE PYQs, generally that gives you a very good idea of the concepts, okay. And normally the timeline of this exam is this year. Exam date is 8th to 9th March. Generally, this happens in slots. So 8th to 9th March. Okay, so 8th to 9th March is what you have the exam dates. Okay, so which means exactly from today you have 2 months. So these 2 months you can spend in revising the things, because many of you might be preparing for your GATE examination, which is in February 1st week and 3rd week to some of you. So there, whatever the syllabus and whatever the questions you have practiced, just continue your preparation after GATE exam. Okay, one common point that I tell you that I tell to everyone is, after GATE, many people, depending on their GATE exam went good or bad, they leave studying. Okay, they'll feel that okay, the GATE is done. Okay, GATE is a very good exam, very powerful exam, but GATE is not the only exam. Okay, so after GATE, there are n number of PSUs which recruit without GATE examination. So if you continue your preparation, definitely one of the exam will knock your door. Okay, so just focus on this. You have 2 months of time. Focus on the revision and continue your preparation, whatever you're doing for the GATE. Okay, then. So this is how the written test. So once the written test is done, then I'm just giving you the selection procedure. Screening for interview happens. Okay, after the written test. Okay, so this is after the written test. So after the written test, you'll have screening for interview, which generally happen in first week of April. Generally, first week of April, the result for the written test comes up, and both for the GATE and the GATE and the separate written exam, there will be a combined list of shortlisted candidates. Okay, so your name will be appearing on this screening for interview and the screened list. Then from that, you have to go for the interview. Okay, but in between these two, you have something called slot booking. Okay, which I write. So you have something called slot booking. Okay, and everything will be notified through email. Don't worry. So what happens? Obviously, interviews take for certain duration of time. So once you got your name in the screening list, then BARC opens up a portal where you have to select a feasible date for the interview. Okay, so once you select the date for the interview, you will be interviewed on that particular date, whatever you have selected in one of the, majorly it happens only in Anushakti Nagar, Mumbai. So you can go there. Okay, and once your interview is good, then you'll have to go for the medical test. Okay, and there are cases where even people get rejected in this medical test. Okay, so but the case is very less, like it's 1 out of 100 or 1 out of 150 cases. But after interview, you'll have to go for the medical test, and then you're finally selected into OCS or DGFS schemes. Okay, so this is the process. So after the written test, you have the screening, then screening to interview, interview to medical test, and if you clear all these stages, you'll be out. Okay, for the selection. Then let's see what can be done in this interview. So what's the interview sequence? Of course, at this point, I'm just giving you some brief idea, but first, primarily till the written test is over, focus only on the written exam. Okay, once the written test is done, then you can go for the interview, and I'll myself and some other colleagues of mine has some good experience with this BARC. They have also cleared BARC at their time. So we will come up with a nice interview session which gives you each and every minute detail of the interview. Okay, and right now if you just look at the sequence, normally they'll be, in my case there were some, I still remember there were 7 scientists who are sitting. Then they'll give you some chalk piece or marker and ask you to go to the board, of course. And anyway, so formal introduction to the aspirants, and after formal introduction, they'll ask you 4 to 5 strong technical subjects. Okay, strong technical subjects, so subject selection. So when they tell you what are your favorite subjects, anyway, we'll talk about these things in much detail after the shortlist has come out for the interviews, but I'm just giving you some idea. So don't tell the subject which are very nice and fancy to you. Okay, tell the subject in which you are very strong at. Okay, so then after they'll BARC tests not more about your knowledge, but more about your aptitude or thinking kind of skill. Okay, so they'll give you some problems where you will definitely get stuck, and they'll test your grasping power. Okay, like when you get stuck at a particular problem, they'll try to give some hint, and using that hint, are you able to get out of that problem? That's what they'll test you. Okay, because research is always like you get stuck at some point, and using some hint, you move out of that. Okay, so that's how the work majority is there after your posting. So they'll test for the same in the interview panel, and then obviously they'll discussion mode in the interview. So basically, if you see, it's not like a question and an answer. Many times they cross question you, they give some hints. Again, if you're not able to do very well, they'll try to give more hints. Okay, so it's like an interaction kind of interview that happens. It's not a very like question and answer based interview, which generally happens outside, but it's a discussion based interviews. Okay, so These are the things, and obviously once you have the interview, you can see prime focus on technical plus grasping skills. That's what I've been telling all this for now. And you can see medical test. So the medical test involve only some basic vitals testing and basic functionality of the organs like lungs. Normally they'll do the pulmonary test. Okay, depending on some specific job performances, they'll test your body conditions. That's all. Okay, for the job. And this is the medical test, and very few cases, very few people get rejected in this medical test. It's almost like 1 in 150, 1 in 100 kind of case. Don't worry about this much. So these are the things which they do. And obviously you can see general. Okay, I'll give the general timelines. So application is open now. Application is open now. Open, and the last date is 26th January. The Republic Day is the last date for this, 26/1/2025. Okay, and obviously the written test happens on 8th and 9th of March, and interview shortlist will happen in first week of April. Then obviously after you get shortlisted, you have to do the slot booking. So slot booking happens generally from 3rd to 4th week of April. And interviews, then obviously once you book the slot, you have the interviews. So interviews happens around May to June. They take long time because in BRC the time of interview is very large compared to all other interviews. Like my interview went for 1 hour 10 minutes actually. Okay, so interview time is large, so definitely they need very more time to interview many candidates. And one good thing about BRC, it doesn't have a limited number of vacancies. Okay, so depending if 100 candidates are feasible, they are willing to take 100. Okay, so there's nothing like only 40 we should select or 30 we should select or 20 we should select. There's nothing like that. If they feel that you are good, they can recommend you to the final selection. Okay, and finally result. Final result may turn up somewhere in July. Okay, and your joining will be in the first semesters of August, where even in DGFS institutes the semester begins from August 1st generally. Okay, so these are the general timelines. So right now we are at this point where application is open. So apply and prepare for this written test. Okay, so we will be to you all this procedure and we'll be guiding you till this point if there is anything that can be done. Okay, so again, many of you might be studying for GATE exam, so I don't want to take much of your time. So I have concluded this video in a shortest time possible. So I hope I have given you some enough idea on what is the nature of the job that you'll do if you get into BARC, and then after what is the procedure right from the beginning. Okay, now I would like to show you few things which you'll see. So if you just type BARC 2025, this information brochure comes up where you can find majority of the details I have taught you in this video. Okay, so it's a 42-page document which can be gone through in a half an hour kind of time. So if you go through very clearly, so it has all the points where how to apply. Okay, then eligibility criteria, qualification, online exams, training institutes, basically list everything. Okay, and important dates, you have everything. So just go through this document. It's an information brochure, and to apply definitely you can go for, anyway it's given how to apply. So if you go to section 5, but normally you have barkonlineexam.in, that's the website, official website. So BARC online exam. So if you click this, then you have a direct website. Okay, or else just type BARC OCES 25, that can give you some idea. OCES 2025. Okay, so if you go here, then you can see vacancies, and then you have yeah, this is the website. Okay, so BARC OCES exam.in. So if you click on this, okay, maybe we had some issue with this browser, but in general this is the official website. Okay, so if you click that, you have the procedure for login, registration, everything. Anyway, we have done many videos on this platform to make you understand how to apply for this exam, but this is the website. Okay, and that's the information brochure. So please go through this information brochure before you apply. Okay, and yeah, so ultimately these are the timelines. Even you have a list of important dates and all in your information brochure, so please go through that. Okay, so with my understanding of BRC, I have thought of giving you this information at this point of time, but this is just like a nutshell information. Once the written test is nearby, we'll again make videos how to attempt the questions, all these things at time to time, okay, depending on your necessity. So I wish you a very good luck for your GATE.